Welcome to Steelers Nation Central. It's mailbag time after the big Jalen Ramsey, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Jonnu Smith trade. I'm sure you all have a ton of questions because this deal has so many implications for the team moving forward. So, without wasting any time, let's dive right into it. First off, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because even though I'm currently on vacation, whenever there's breaking news, we are bringing you content on this channel every single time. Expect more videos like this, a bit more casual and home style, throughout the week as we get closer to training camp. This is where you'll get all the latest updates on the black and gold. Alright, starting off with a great question from Jim Cease, who dropped a $5 super chat asking, do you think the Steelers tried to get a safety now? What are your thoughts? Well, Jim, I think there's definitely a chance the Steelers could add a safety, but it really depends on how they view Juan Thornhill. Thornhill was brought in during the offseason, and he's a former Super Bowl champion free safety from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's known as a ball hawk back in his prime. He was someone who regularly picked off passes. Now, there's some speculation that the Steelers might use Jalen Ramsey as a free safety, which would mean Thornhill would slide into a more traditional free safety role. If Ramsey mostly plays cornerback, then Thornhill would likely assume the free safety position. That being said, Thornhill has struggled in recent years with injuries and hasn't had much interception production since his Super Bowl run in 2020 with the Chiefs, where he had 3 picks. Over the last 2 seasons, he hasn't recorded an interception, and his tape with the Cleveland Browns has been, frankly, underwhelming. So, if Thornhill ends up starting at free safety and struggles, that could be a significant downgrade for the Steelers' secondary. If the Steelers aren't fully confident in Thornhill's ability to bounce back, they might look at other free agents like Justin Simmons. Simmons is still available, and while he had a down year with the Falcons last season, it was more about the defensive scheme not fitting his strengths than a loss of skill. Simmons has consistently been a high-impact player with great interception numbers over his career, and he fits the mold of a true free safety, which the Steelers could definitely use. Another name to keep an eye on is Jordan Poyer, who is close friends with Aaron Rodgers. Poyer and Rodgers have gone on retreats together, forming a strong brotherhood off the field. So if the Steelers want to add experience and leadership at safety, Poyer might be on their radar. We'll see how that all shakes out. Next up, LT sent in a $5 super chat asking, what happened behind closed doors for the Steelers to agree to move on from Minkah Fitzpatrick? It was unexpected. I always thought Minkah would be a Steeler for life. This one really boils down to Minkah's contract situation. His cap hit was enormous, over $20 million per year, and he hasn't quite lived up to that value on the field recently. While he's still a very good player and a solid safety, his production has declined. Minkah is known for making big impact plays, intercepting passes, and being around the ball, but he's only recorded 1 interception in the last 2 years. The Steelers wanted to keep a strong safety presence, but they also wanted Jonnu Smith, who was a major target in this trade. The Dolphins, in return, wanted both Minkah and Fitzpatrick as part of the deal to send Jonnu Smith to Pittsburgh. The Steelers were willing to move on from Minkah to acquire both Ramsey and Smith, and they likely believe Ramsey can fill or even improve upon Minkah's role in the secondary. From a cap and production standpoint, this move frees up space and gives Pittsburgh more flexibility. Losing Minkah as a person and locker room leader is tough. He's beloved, and even sat in on defensive coaches' meetings, which is a testament to his football IQ and respect within the team. But the financial realities and performance declines pushed the Steelers to make the move. Mike Tomlin's decision to trade Minkah was surprising given how much he values him, but sometimes tough choices are necessary to build a better roster overall. Moving on, LMV Gaming asked about Chris Olave, wondering what the situation is there. The Steelers did call New Orleans to express interest in Olave as a potential offensive playmaker. However, the Saints basically said no. It doesn't look like Olave will be traded this offseason. It would be a tough move for New Orleans to lose such a key weapon, especially with their rookie quarterback Tyler Shaw still developing and the Saints needing all the talent they can get at receiver. Plus, Olave is on a rookie contract, which makes him affordable and valuable to keep around, unless there's some hidden injury or long-term concern like multiple concussions. The Saints seem intent on keeping Olave, so I wouldn't expect a trade there. Now, give me your thoughts down in the comments. How would you grade this trade? I'm leaning toward an A- right now. It's hard to give a final grade until we see how the Steelers handle the safety position, whether they sign a free agent or fully trust Thornhill, and exactly where Ramsey lines up in the defensive backfield. But right now, adding a dynamic offensive weapon like Jonnu Smith and a defensive playmaker in Ramsey, while getting rid of a declining player with a huge cap hit, looks like a win. It opens up cap space, improves the offense, and maintains defensive strength. I think the Steelers are feeling pretty good about this deal. Milton Sanchez also asked a very important question: if TJ Watt and the Steelers can't come to terms on a contract, will he be traded? And if so, would you trade him for McLaurin? Here's my take right now. I'm not worried about TJ Watt's contract situation. Typically, when both the team and player want to get a deal done, it happens. TJ Watt has expressed a desire to be a Steeler for life, and the Steelers want to keep him as well. He's still young and playing at a top level. Arguably, he's one of the best defensive players in football right now. So, while he might be asking for a lot of money, I think the Steelers are motivated to make that work. Interestingly, part of the reason the Steelers may have moved on from Minkah Fitzpatrick could have been to free up the cap space needed to sign TJ Watt long-term. Ramsey's contract isn't a huge cap burden this year, especially with an option bonus that triggers early in the season, and he can be cut next offseason if needed. So, the Steelers have flexibility there, but they want to keep Watt, and I expect a deal to get done. Trading Watt would be a shock to me given what he means to the defense and his production. It would feel like a huge gamble. Moving on, Steelers prods asked if the Steelers don't sign a safety now, is Caleb Downs an option in the 2026 draft? Downs is definitely a top prospect, likely a top 5 or top 10 pick. However, the Steelers are expected to use their first-round pick next year to address the quarterback position, with Aaron Rodgers likely playing his final season in 2025. The Steelers want to secure their franchise QB in the upcoming draft, which is loaded with quarterback talent. This was also the reason they passed on a quarterback in this year's draft. They felt the 2026 class would give them better options. So, while Caleb Downs is an intriguing player, he probably won't be a priority for the Steelers given their bigger need at quarterback next year. That said, if Rodgers returns for another season, or if Will Howard impresses enough to be considered the future QB, then the pick might open up for other positions, including safety. But for now, it looks like the Steelers are focused on quarterbacks. In 20-6. Another question from number 1 Steelers: what's going to happen with Darnell Washington? If he's playing fullback, what about Connor Hayward? Last year, Hayward had a down season, so it wouldn't be surprising if he's cut. But if he stays, he might also move to fullback. The Steelers plan to use a lot of 13 personnel this year, meaning 1 running back and 3 tight ends on the field, especially on early downs like first and second. Expect Darnell Washington to be a key blocker, almost like a 6th offensive lineman who can catch passes too. Then you have Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, who will handle more traditional tight end roles with a mix of blocking and receiving. Freiermuth is a savvy route runner with reliable hands, great at finding soft spots in zone coverage. Jonnu Smith, on the other hand, is a dynamic playmaker who excels in manufactured touches, screens, drags, quick passes that turn into big gains. This offense is shaping up to be a tough, physical unit that wants to bully opponents up front, but still have plenty of weapons in the passing game. Using 13 personnel heavily gives them size and versatility, which is exactly what the Steelers are aiming for this season. Washington might also see some time at fullback, which would add another dimension to their offense. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling in NFL circles, and the latest buzz coming out of Pittsburgh has fans and analysts alike raising their eyebrows. Whispers suggest that the Steelers have quietly outbid other suitors in what many are calling a stealthy but high-stakes auction for veteran wide receiver Amari Cooper. According to early reports, Pittsburgh may have already secured the deal, with an announcement potentially imminent, if not already made behind closed doors. The idea of Cooper wearing black and gold is enough to get the Heinz Field faithful talking, while no official terms have been disclosed. Insiders believe the Steelers were aggressive in their pursuit, outmaneuvering at least 3 other teams who were eyeing the former Browns and Cowboys star. If the rumors hold true, Pittsburgh may have landed the kind of elite wideout their offense desperately needs. A player with crisp route running, big game experience, and a proven track record as a reliable target, the potential move comes at a crucial time for the Steelers, who are retooling their offense in hopes of returning to AFC prominence. Kenny Pickett's development under center has been under the microscope, and a veteran like Cooper could provide not only a trusted target, but also valuable leadership for a young receiving corps. Pairing Cooper with rising talents like George Pickens could signal Pittsburgh's intent to go all in on a playoff push in the 2025 season. Of course, nothing has been officially confirmed, and sources close to the organization remain tight-lipped. But where there's smoke, there's often fire, and the growing chatter suggests the Steelers may have just pulled off one of the offseason's biggest coups. Stay tuned, because if the ink is already dry, Pittsburgh might just have reshaped the AFC North landscape in one bold stroke. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.